Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. It's a balmy summer's morning, a little bit overcast as you can see there on the horizon, and a very early start to the day for me. It's probably about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour away from sunrise. But I love starting my mornings like this, getting up early, jumping on the bus, reading a book summary and summarising it into my own notes, and then taking the opportunity to identify a vantage point somewhere in this most beautiful city of Sydney where I can highlight and showcase its absolute glory. So today I'm up here at the International Passenger Terminal, or what it's known as the Overseas Passenger Terminal, and I've got another wonderful book to go through this morning. It's book summary, or it's 5am Club number 1282 in English, plus I've done about 69 or 70 in Greek. So I'm building a huge library of material, and I just can't believe that a dream that I had at the beginning of the pandemic has not only come to fruition, but I'm over-delivering on what my initial concept was. Initially I was going to do 1,000 in 3 years, and then I said to myself, wow, what happens if I can try and get it done in 1 year? So I upped my ante, and I got the 1,000 done within the 12 months, which is an absolute phenomenal sort of outcome. So let's get on to the book summary. So today I want to go through a book summary entitled Embrace the Suck. Embrace the Suck, by an author known as Brent Gleeson. And this book is all about understanding the US Navy SEAL mindset, mentality, and how they prepare soldiers for life at battle, for army life. And it's a very, very grueling, a very, very tough training regime, which prepares them by putting them through tougher circumstances than what they may even find in battle, in order to harden them, in order to steel them, to get them ready, so that when they are put under tremendous pressure in battle conditions, they know that they can deal with it, they know they can get through it, over it, under it, and basically thrive in moments of tremendous stress. So the theme of this book is basically learning how to thrive in adversity, and to learn how to get comfortable with being very, very uncomfortable. It's one of those topics, it's one of those subjects that a lot of us, I guess, feel awkward in talking about, because most of us, I guess, love comfort. You know, we've been brought up in an age and where, you know, we are surrounded by comforts, so much so that everybody who is living today, or most people that are living today, have a lot more comfort than the kings of old. You know, we can travel to every country in the world. We can sample every delicacy and every food in the world. It's just absolutely amazing that we're in an age now where life is simply beautiful for most people. I'm not saying it's perfect, I'm not saying it's great for everybody, but we are living in blessed times, and especially if you're living in Australia. You know, it is the land of everything, and you can't really complain realistically. So the book here goes through and talks about the Navy SEAL mentality of challenge, commitment, and control. Basically dealing with those three and being able to cope regardless of what gets thrown at you. The author then goes on to say to each and every one of us, and I guess as you get older, you start to realise how true it actually is, that we need to expect pain and suffering in life. Life isn't beer and Skittles, just beer and Skittles. There are a lot of challenges, individual challenges, that each of us will need to bear through our 70, or whatever our allotment of time is in life. And the earlier you realise that life isn't easy, the easier it's going to be for you to be able to thrive and deal with the challenges that will come our way. Because as we said, nobody's been to the future, and nobody has experienced exactly the same life. We all experience a different past, a unique and different past. We all are going to experience a different today. I'm here right now experiencing this most magnificent pink sunrise, and most certainly we're going to experience and live a different future. So embrace it, accept it, receive it, don't push it away, and our life is a gift that we need to live and we need to make the most of. So what else can we learn here? The author also goes on to say that we need to expect pain and suffering in life, and the basic element, the basic call to action is, if you're not failing regularly, then you're not living and you're not trying hard enough. Because regardless of what happens in life, we mustn't fear our future, we mustn't fear what gets thrown at us, because we need to learn to make the most of the cards that are dealt to us and dealt our way. And we need to adapt to failure in an adaptive and creative way. Because what happens is that failure is something that we need to understand a little bit more. I remember hearing a saying, and it's a powerful saying, where the author suggested and said quite emphatically, and quite rightly I may say as well, that God gifts us many things, but those gifts are usually wrapped in pain, suffering, and failure. But it's up to us to accept those gifts, to unwrap those gifts, and to make the most of them. The key points that come out of this book here in terms of failure is some realities, where the author says that failure distorts our perception if we allow it. There is a distortion that happens with failure. So the key and important element here is that if you allow it, now you've got a choice. You can allow it or you can disallow it. So let's not allow the failures to distort our perceptions of reality, of life, and to go with the flow. Another key point that comes out of this book is that failure also distorts our thoughts about our abilities and our capabilities. So once again, it's something that to be aware of, and not to allow it to engulf you and to break your spirit. The key point again from this author is not to allow these thoughts, and not to listen to these thoughts, as these voices may impact you, because you get to feel helpless. We mustn't listen to these voices of helplessness. And to understand and to accept, once again, that failure is a stepping stone to success. And to be aware that we are constantly, or we can constantly be the victim of unconscious self-sabotage. So once again, getting a better understanding, getting a better handle on what failure is something that this training that the Navy SEALs go through helps them to be better at what they do, because at the end of the day, what they learn, how they respond to it, and how they deal with it could be the matter of life and death for them, but also their fellow soldiers and fellow peers. I've been watching the Olympics over the past few days, and it's, I guess, sad to see that a number of outstanding athletes, a number of great performers who had high expectations placed upon them by themselves, by their results, by their countries, by their coaches, ended up failing in their attempts, ended up choking. And the author here says that sometimes fear can play on our minds, and especially if you're a soldier, especially if you're fatigued, you can be in a position where you can overthink things, and you can allow fear to cloud your thinking, and end up being a greater enemy than the other soldiers. The author then goes on to talk about willpower, and once again, willpower from his perspective is like a muscle. You need to use it, else you lose it. So something that needs to be used, and to understand that willpower gets depleted over time as you get tired, as you get fatigued, and once again, understanding the mechanics, the science of willpower as a soldier will also help you get through the ups and downs. Let me go over here and get another vantage point. We've seen the sky pink up and orange up, and it is absolutely glorious. So the next point to come out of this book is the key point to focus intently only on those things that you can change, only on those things that you can control, and rather than focusing on things that are beyond and outside of your control. So that's a key point, especially if you're a soldier. So many things are happening in parallel that can overwhelm you, but at the end of the day, all we can do, all each and every one of us can do, is basically do and control the things that are within their power to control. Because if you're focusing on things that you can't control, this author reminds us that it's a waste of time, it's a waste of your energy, it's a waste of your effort. So in order to build our capability, in order to build strength, in order to build resilience and to maximize your training. The authors here from this book say that, or the call to action actually, is to do something that sucks every day. Try and do something every day that sucks. Something that other people don't do. Take the road less traveled. Do something which is difficult. I remember as a martial artist many years ago learning about Voodoo style, how the masters live, and they put themselves every single day, every moment, through challenging times to maintain, to build, to manage their mental state, their strength. So rather than being lazy and taking the easy road, because karate, by the way, means the way, instead of taking the easy way, sometimes it's better to always challenge yourself and take the hard way, the tough way, so that you can be always game fit and ready for the challenges. And we don't know what's going to challenge us next. We don't know what's going to happen at the end of the week. The world is poised at the moment and worried about Russia and Ukraine, worried about Russia invading Ukraine by the end of the week. Once again, that's a fear, it's a problem, it's a challenge that people think and talk about, but we don't know if it's going to happen or if it's not going to happen. But one thing for sure and for certain, it is causing stress. It's causing stress to the share market. It's causing stress to families, especially the ones in Ukraine. And it's causing a great deal of stress to political leaders throughout the world who are rushing to try and manage or minimise the outcome or the thought of something like this occurring. So the next point that comes from this book is where the author talks about a concept of see it, own it, and use it. So basically we need to understand how to deal with stress and how to manage stressful situations, and to once again embrace it, and to know that these things happen for our benefit. The reason why we stress about things is because we care about them. And what the author is saying is that we need to be able to identify stress, identify the root causes, and label it. And once you label it, then you're in a position to be able to own it, and then to unleash the necessary aggression required in order to deal with it. And this is what SEAL training is all about. SEAL training is about preparing people by putting them in situations, severe stressful situations which exponentially increase to build the capability and capacity of the individual to be able to manage stress in a productive way, and not to be overwhelmed, not to feel helpless, and to be able to cope better. I remember back in the year 2000 when Michael Johnson came to Australia and he ran the 200 and the 400 metre races here at the Olympics and won gold. But he also said and met up with Kathy Freeman well before that. But the message he gave to Kathy Freeman was that it was important to train hard and to the point of being sick, so that when you turned up for race day was easy compared to training. And what the author says here, and I like this point here, is where they say that the stress response actually makes you stronger, makes you better. And this is part of our physiological response. We're all going to die one day, so we need to make the most of what we have available to us and give us the best chance of surviving whatever comes our way. That's why we get vaccinated. That's why we do what we do. We train, we get educated. We try and manage our health as best as possible. We stay active so that we make the most of this gift that we have, which is our lives. Anyway, so the key is, I guess, to live our lives as best we can so we don't look back with regret one day. And I guess as a soldier, you need to do what you need to do in order to get back home and serve your country, serve your team, serve your battalion, and get back home in one piece. So I guess the last point here is that the key to life is to fight, to be a fighter. There you go, boys. And to rise to the challenge. What I see down here is, I'll finish off the vlog here today, but we've got a beautiful yacht down here named Australia, but I can see on the side there some banners or a sign which says freedom. This may be the Palmer yacht, but who knows? I guess we'll find out with time where all of these things lead. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club. I look forward to joining you again from a different location with a different message of empowerment, where we can showcase and highlight the beauty of this most wonderful city of Sydney and overlay it with a message of empowerment. But there you go. Happy Tuesday to everybody, and hopefully it'll be a lovely day. It looks like it's going to be a cracker. That cloud will probably blow away, burn off, and end up being another awesome Sydney summer day. Take care, yasas, and we'll chat again. Bye for now.